Okay, now we continue our fourth panel discussion of today, ecosystem builders as role models. Moderator will be László Ciriák from Interactive Venture Partners. Zoltán Györkő, please come up on stage from Startup Hungary. Jared Schreiber from as an investor from the US. Peter Schuster for Universe Invest. Szabolcs Szakasics from Unban Startup Hungary. Thank you and have a wonderful conversation.
All right, I'm going to separate myself here with this chair, so I'm isolated from the panelists. Yeah. So László Ciriák here. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for being with us. I'm the managing partner of Interactive Venture Partners, which is a new fund funded by Tamás Péterfi, and we're looking to invest in early stage, very early stage. And I'm here with my esteemed panelists. Zoltán Györkő, can you say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, it's easier if you introduce ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It helps me.
I'm Zoltán. I happen to be a co-founder of Budapest, Hungarian startup. We exited. We sold the company a few years ago, and since then I'm doing some angel investing, and actually now I'm the president of the board of Startup Hungary. So that's the role I'm sitting here.
Exactly, which is important. Jared?
Hi everyone, Jared Schreiber, serial entrepreneur from Silicon Valley. Now live in Budapest the last several years. After exiting my last startup, have spent more time working in the ecosystem here, working with a number of startups as an early stage angel investor and advisor.
Szabolcs?
Hello, I'm the founder of the fourth most successful IT company in Finland. And we are working with the top technology companies in the world. I moved to Hungary back 2 years ago, and since then I'm working actively in the startup ecosystem, doing 8-10 investments a year, and mostly impact investments, and also building the startup ecosystem.
Peter?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Peter Schuster. I am from Universe Invest, and I have a very long history in capital market in Hungary. I was in different positions in different brokerage companies and asset management companies. At the moment, we are at the Universe Invest. We are focusing on investment relationship management, on listing of stock exchange, but partly we are focusing also for startups who would like to go in the future in the stock exchange.
Great. So we're supposed to talk about ecosystem, and indeed, this panel, I think, we are all builders of this ecosystem, and that's why we're here. You're a little bit later stage, Jared, Szabolcs, and Zoltán, maybe a little earlier stage like me. So we actually have been contributing to the ecosystem by contributing to advocating for better regulations and laws. So can we talk about what are the laws, the regulations that need to be improved, and where have we gotten to till now? And maybe Zoltán, start with Startup Hungary and what you're doing and where we are.
Yeah, okay. One of Startup Hungary's project is that we have annual survey, filled about 200-300 startups, and
Survey.
A survey, yes. And in that survey, we identified 3 years ago already what are the biggest issues for the founders from a regulatory point of view, and started working on solving those with government, different ministries, organizations, etc. And finally, we are getting somewhere. So the main topics we identified were new regulations for convertible loan and safe investments, which helps early stage startups to get money easier, on easier terms. another topic is to have a better employee stock option program regulation, because actually in Hungary that is non-existent now. It goes somewhere in the shadow area. And the third biggest issue we found was a bit easier administration around new companies. I mean, starting a new company, closing a new company, etc. Because if you are a founder, you have an idea, you start a company, and it may happen that in 6 from that point, you would like to shut it down, but it takes ages.
Maybe Jared, you can tell us about where we've gotten to so far.
Sure. So it's interesting. There was the survey done, and when I first moved here, I just started networking with founders and people in the ecosystem, and I found the same kind of things with the addition of just like the legal entity type of a KFT and a ZRT, and the handling of stock are not appropriate for startups. And so I'd say that also needs to be addressed. In terms of what's amazed me is since engaging, is how quickly things have started to move. I think the partners working together on something like convertible notes and safes, we actually saw new regulation get passed to allow convertible notes to be used to invest in early stage startups, which is a huge win. And I think we as angels and others here need to be leveraging that as the most appropriate vehicle available to fund early stage startups in Hungary. It's a much better option for everyone involved than
Funds
price
too.
Equity. What's that?
Funds
too, yeah. At the earliest stage, it's just much more appropriate than priced equity rounds into a KFT or here in Hungary. And so I think that's a huge win. And I think most recently there's been some legislation put forward for consideration on employee stock options and the granting of those options not being a taxable event for the employee at the time of grant, which is really important because if you tax somebody on something where, okay, I've got a piece of paper that's a promise, but I have no cash from it, now I'm getting taxed on it, that's not a very good benefit. It's not very appealing. At the same time, I think there are still questions to be addressed in, okay, we solved the tax side, but can a company actually issue these options to begin with as a KFT or ZRT? So I think there's some more work to be done.
It's also for phantom shares, by the way, which is good. Szabolcs, can you comment as well, please?
Yes, this is one of my favorite topics because there are so many things to do here, and I have a very good comparison with Finland and Hungary. And the interesting thing that I also checked comparisons like in Europe, and Finland is not even maybe in the middle, it's under, but Hungary is so much in the bottom. And one of the day, actually this week, I talked with iszerződés.hu about, because try to improve things, and they say that yeah, in Europe it's Hungary is the most difficult. We solve it first, and other will be much more easier. So I see that a lot of things to do in the starting the company, investing the company, operating the company, closing the company. It's with the banks a lot of problem with the notary, with Keller. And other interesting thing that actually sometimes there are legalization for this, but they are not using it. And sometimes when we are forcing, they say, okay, we can do it the easier way. But people already got used to it, that doing the difficult way. And many times I see that people are working, but it doesn't make any sense. That it doesn't add any value. And they think they do something useful, but actually they are not doing it. But they could do it easier. I could tell an example. This is also just happened in Tuxera, in my company, which is global, that historically we didn't have too many PO, purchase orders. And somehow it increased a lot. And it made our cash flow in this very not great economic situation. Cash flow is not so good. And we started to investigate why the cash flow slowed down. And it turned out that the reason is because some software in Hungary requires something, and they are requiring POs for companies when actually not even needing for that. This is the reason. It just happened. I learned it this week. Why I don't know. It's still ongoing. We have to solve it because it's not healthy. But yeah, this is also a very
great. No, good example. Peter, do you want to add to this topic, please?
Yeah, a little bit. We are focusing not only for the startup only a little bit, but what for us is investing that in Hungary so we are working many different things with the National Bank of Hungary, and I think that is the big challenge for also for the startups, for maybe for Tőkeportál also, that the National Bank of Hungary have not a supportive issues in the sectors, also in maybe in fintech, maybe in crowdfunding. And after if somebody wants to go to stock exchange, then it's very important the control of National Bank. But if they have different ideas, different things about the operation, that is the problem, I think.
Great. No, that's really great. I'd add just one other thing, which is many funds here in Hungary have these weird rights that block other investment coming in or even moving outside of the country if you need to for business reasons. That's another problem that needs to be tackled. Anyway, let's talk about soft skills. So part of the ecosystem here is the challenge, or the challenge of the ecosystem is the entrepreneur side, right? We heard about networking, but also soft skills. I mean, marketing, sales skills, getting up in front of people and making a presentation. What do you guys think?
Again, I think Hungary has no shortage of scientific and engineering talent, especially proportional to the population. I think all forms of business skills are relatively lacking, and there's a historical reason for that, and it's going to take time to overcome. But if we could translate that to soft skills, so let's talk about sales. It's easy to pick on, well, Hungarians aren't great at sales, and maybe it's because they just don't have the confidence to say anything. They want to be really confident in what they say and diligent about it. But that's not fundamentally it. What I see happening here is that great salespeople are not people who are great at articulating the points that they want to get across because that's what they want to say. They're really, really good at understanding what the buyer wants to hear and reframing and positioning things to answer the questions that are in the buyer's mind. And they're super empathetic in their approach to sales. They don't focus on features, they focus on customer benefits. They don't focus on telling the story they want to tell, they focus on asking questions and understanding the needs and interests of the customer. And fundamentally, I see that as a challenge in terms of the founders who come pitch me, who just want to tell me their story, regardless of what I'm trying to understand or learn about their business or what I need to hear in terms of being willing to invest. And I see it in how they prepare their sales presentations and pitch themselves to potential clients. So I would say the empathetic side of the business skills is what I see most lacking.
Videos? Go ahead.
Yes, this is the other example what I identified as one of the biggest issue, and actually I am one of the living example of that, because I studied in the Szeged University, program designer mathematician, and I was told that we will be leaders. Yes, we will be leaders as a technology leaders, but not people leaders. It's totally missed, and I had to learn quite a lot in Finland. I was lucky that I met with those people, and they helped me a lot. And this is not only the business skills. I mean, it's not only the sales skills. I also see quite many other. It's when somebody is building a company, the culture is also extremely important. That what keeps the company moving. Other thing is the branding. But Jared is really world expert in that, and extremely important. In Hungary, I can see, for example, that it keeps changing all the time. That come on, until I learn it, it gets different. I can learn it again and again, and this is not working. Other is what Startup Hungary is doing, the product manager, for example. That how important the user interface experience is extremely important. So there are a lot of in Hungary, in science, we are very good in that, but what is around to build great product and sell it, that's still missing, being developed.
Yeah, great. Zoltán, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with you that we miss business skills as a countrywide level. On the other hand, I'm optimistic that we are the beginning of a exponential curve. So as we have seen on previous example, what Tuna said, that those startups who once build something, I mean, build a business from Hungary, selling outside of Hungary, and they leave that company, go to the next one, they bring that knowledge with them. And they doesn't start to from scratch again. So it is getting better and better. We meet more and more people who you can find the right marketing agencies, the young talents, what we see in Startup Hungary community, they start using very advanced marketing automation tools right away. Going back my time, it took 6 years till I realized that at all that marketing is a thing. So they are well ahead of us. We are still below countries around us and far from US, but we are going up.
Great. And Peter, when you see the management come to do a stock listing, do you see differences in management?
A little bit, but yes, we are seeing up also some problem with the management thinking, and that means that the companies who wants to go to stock exchange, they have experience, they have something history, but the main thing that there is the one-man show, and only one man knows what the company do, and that is they have no exact management. They have the CEO, and the CEO would like make all of things. And when we are trying to explain what is the difference between small companies and big companies, then it's coming that we have to build management, and that is the most important thing in this age.
Yeah, it's interesting because investors don't like one manager to have everything because it's a huge risk. They have to learn how to delegate, and it reduces the risk for the investors. Yeah. So collaboration is another thing, networking we heard about earlier today. How important is that?
Shall I start? Obviously, it's important. It's very, very important. I think I was saying that actually Hungarian startup ecosystem is quite similar size as, let's say, Orange County or whatever, Palo Alto suburbs. So it's a small ecosystem with a very few startups. Even if we will have a lot more than now, it will be still small, and a handful of actors in it. So it's vital that we cooperate. So angels, VCs, incubators, state, everyone, because everyone knows everyone. There is no competition in the market. Even on VC level, the investors are looking for co-investors and doing deals together. We don't have to compete, especially not on ecosystem builder levels.
Right.
I'd also say that applies to founders. When I first came here, I tried to understand how do founders help founders. I was so fortunate to be a part of a founder community in the U.S. where we had an email distribution list, and we would pose questions to each other of say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Has anyone dealt with this before? Could anyone recommend a provider for that? I'm facing this problem. Could you recommend an advisor or approach? It just didn't exist here. And Startup Hungary partnered with me to set up kind of that initial list, and now it's turned into a Slack channel for founders, and we're starting to get a little bit of traction in terms of sharing some best practices, sharing some talents, sharing some things, but I think there's more there to do as well in terms of founders helping founders, not just ecosystem players on the investor side working with each other.
Yes, I also see that it's absolutely important locally, also regionally, internationally, because I have Finnish good connections, and internationally I also try to help there. And I could tell two examples here, which is positive. So we also have that one. One of them, what I extremely liked, that was the branch, that they came to the Humban, they pitched there, but often it happens that not enough money we can collect there. So they told us that if you are interested, that come to the Töke portal and invest there, and this way, this became the most successful fundraising in the history of Töke portal. The other one was also similar. That was another company who was looking funding and 100 million forint. They couldn't and went to Töke portal, and they started getting very, very good traction, and VCs also got interested who were not before, and they also invested, and in the end they raised not 100 million but 300 million, 3 times more. So this is another one. So we are working together, then we can be much more successful.
Right. Peter, you want to?
So I think I see that in Hungary the startup world is a very good. It is not only association, but it's a absolutely a small world. My daughter has a startup, and I see the development of the thinking of her, and they are communicate with the other startup. They are communicate with the all of ecosystem player, and they are studying from each other, and that is very, very nice. And they have competitors, but they think that is very important to make some thing together.
Okay, we're getting near the end, but I just want to ask one more question to all of you, and quick reaction. Is the venture capital investing, and including the government investing, good, bad? Where do you see things? Maybe just quick replies. Go ahead. You got the mic.
I hope I get more than one word to
Sure.
yeah, okay, because I'm very picky on this topic. I mean, yeah, state money has a role in early stage investing, especially in the developing markets, because there is not enough private capital. There are not enough wealthy people who could invest. We don't even have enough business angels and families and relatives who would invest in early stage startups. So state has a role in it. I think in Hungary, it needs to be fine-tuned, because it's not the having state investor is not a problem on its own. The problem is sometimes the KPIs they have, or the goals they would like to achieve. That needs to be fine-tuned, and then I think it's going to be completely positive. It's somewhere in
That's
between.
good. I'm optimistic too.
What Zoltan said.
So what?
Well, I didn't have much experience before, only in the past 2 years, and I try to be really very neutral, but my impression is that I didn't see any statistics about state and non-state, but my impression is that the non-state, they are significantly doing better. They take better care about their portfolio companies. On the positive side, I also have experience with the Finnish, working with the Finnish state, and it's much. It was based in the Israeli model, and as I heard that the same is happening also in Hungary. So definitely here again there are a positive development ongoing.
Right, Peter, you want to add anything there?
I think the government, the investment from government is necessary, absolutely necessary. But what is important that it has to be investment and not support, not donation. And the control of the investment is absolutely important.
Yeah, and I'd just love to say I think there are opportunities to create structures by which co-investment with the private actors makes sense. Quite frankly, I think the private actors are in the better position to decide which startups should be funded. As Zoltan said, there's not enough private capital. There's not enough successful entrepreneurs who had great exits here to reinvest into the next generation of startups. So if there were some government investment vehicles that complemented the private capital to provide the startups with enough capital so that they can actually achieve their milestones and gain real traction, I think we could have something great together.
And create that flywheel, as you say, Jared, that flywheel that gets the ecosystem going, and like in Estonia, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, everybody, very much. Pleasure.
Thank you.